Hello again and welcome to Steve's Long Stay Workshop, where success comes to looked at for various reasons. I've got a box opening today, not something I do very often because not easy with one hand. But I wanted to do here because of where it come from. This is a Philips mains radio, and it's come from Paul Stunning a few weeks ago now, and apparently it had been in some sort of car accident. Yeah, I don't think it was driving, but there you go. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to get the thing open, have a look and see what we've got, and you will find out at the same time as me the state that this radio is in. Having said that, I know that Paul restores radios like myself. I know that unlike me, he's got two arms that work. So it was probably working before whatever happened. So with that in mind, we see what we find out exactly what's going on with it. Also, while I'm here, by the way, might be difficult to unpack, but I'm not too bothered about that because some sets that come particularly off eBay will be, shall we say, not well packed. And when a set is not well packed, it will come in the sort of situation, the kind of condition where it can't be repaired, or will need a lot of work on the cabinet or something like that. So that's not a problem. Here, for example, we've got one big box with the radio in it, and inside the big box is a smaller box, again with the radio in it. This is how to do it, and also the packing around the outside as well. So this has been packed rather well. So this is how it should see there. This is how it really should be done. So now, whatever happens to it, you know, on the way with the couriers, you know, wouldn't make it any worse than it is already. So with that out of the way like that, yeah, we've got another box. And more sellotape and more cutting to do therefore. So again, we just look at how to get in it and find out what condition this radio is in. You can see this is how to pack a radio. I know TV forum that has some strong views on it, and quite rightly so. I had one set once that came by, and it was a portable radio in a big box, and Heritage arrived in one piece in that packing. Is something which I will never work out, because basically there wasn't any packing to speak of. Also, by the way, with these, don't go writing stuff like fragile or a cabinet, because that only serves to make it a football for the people at the packing centres. Now, a lot is said about packing centres and how stuff is packed back there. And yeah, it's not good. They don't handle stuff well. We know that, and accidents do happen. But at the same time, you've got to think also about the people who are shipping them and packing them. Because the problem here, people might say something like, oh, they don't care, or this or that, the other. But then again, for the money they're on, which is peanuts, would you care? Yeah? Would you care? Yeah? A friend of mine, a radio DJ, One said to me, pay peanuts and get monkeys. And it's very, very true. So, the people that run these firms, like Hermes or Yodel or whatever, you know, they ought to pay the drivers more, they ought to pay the packers, the handlers more, everything else. And then they might have time to take pride in their work. Might. Okay, always a few that won't, I realise that, but in a lot of cases, a lot of these problems are down to poor payments and poor management. So, if you want to, if these people want to pay the people peanuts, they will get monkeys. It's basically the fact of life, isn't it? So, the reason why stuff is handled so badly by firms such as Hermes is purely because of the way that they are paid and handled by the companies. Now, also in here, it's wrapped in this stuff, yeah. So, which means therefore that we've got shift that. There we are. And slowly, slowly, should run as a race here. Okay, that's a bring for bits of come out. Fair enough. Yeah, and. Let's have a look at the radio itself and find out what state it's in. When the radio comes having been handled like this by couriers, or in this case by car accidents, yeah, the first thing you do is to look and see what is going on with it, what you've got, what state it's in. Some people might say, well, you know, just use it for bits, but this was, as you can see here, a good radio before something happened to it that was nasty. So in this case, we might well have a working radio still. Anyway, there we are. So I'll go and put this box, well, it's locked outside. By the way, keep boxes you can, by the way, because packaging can be reused. Packaging can be reused, and it's good for the environment. That's my environmental speech of the day. And here is the set in question. It's Philips B2G81U. I think that says, yeah, common set. Most of them have a dial here, medium wave and long wave, which is here. I've got a lot of bits as well, by the way. That's the screws and bits and pieces for the front of it there, including most of the Philips sign. I'll not have to do something interesting with that. Knobs and stuff. There we are. Yeah, that's the dial that goes on the front, like something like that. We know that it's something like that because that's the way, because those numbers are the right way up on the dial here. So people say, some people leave them on, some people don't. The view I have on this, by the way, is that it's part of the history of the radio, so leave it in place. The dial, there you are. Yeah, that's okay. Fits in there nicely. Okay, so the set itself. The cabinet is okay apart from a crack in the side here. I don't, if you can see it on camera. Okay. It makes some sort of noise when I flick it, so now we'll take it back off and see what horrors await us. chances are there will be quite a few here. Like I said, it was restored before, so I will think that the electronics, anything with electronics is probably due to the bumps and bangs. So you know, it's neither here nor there. That, you know, this is on the printed circuit board, by the way. But again, that's not a problem, because circuit boards on radios like this are only on one side, you know, not the multi-track things they get on the computers and that. So again, there's not a lot to worry about there. Okay, so that one comes out. The piece will there be one missing actually. That's again, that's common, so I wouldn't be too upset about that just yet. At the moment, all we're doing is looking and seeing what is and what is not. I'm not going to put any power through this for a while, shall we say. That's so there, come off. That comes off. Oh. Again, it's quite often a good idea to pack the inside of the radio as well, things like valves. These look as though they're okay, the valves in this, so that's nice to see. Doesn't appear to have a many components changed in this actually, which is surprising, but you know. Stranger things have happened at sea. Right, okay. Right, well let's see if we can get the radio out of the case and have a look and see what's if anything is up with the radio. Not a lot of production by this, but you never know. You never know. So that comes out. That comes out. Okay, fine. And this comes out as well. Like that. Speaker comes out. Speaker's in good condition, by the way, I noticed. And so let's have a look at the cabinet now and see what needs to be done here. Again, not a lot. There's a crack in the side, and apart from that, there's a bit missing here, but I suppose. But that will be hidden by the dial, so I'm inclined to leave that. So that's off, and that's off. Come out of there. So that lot we'll leave for now. We'll come back to that lot after we looked at this radio and see what, if anything, it needs to have done to it. It's got a modern cable on. Well, it appears to be modern. It's certainly not twin core single colour, because they would be illegal on this set. So that's another thing. So that goes there, okay. That goes there, that goes there. Let's save the socket somewhat. You know, I don't think there's any anything to be done to this, you know, electronically at all. Seriously, I don't. Because not only is it dirty inside here, which is a good thing in many ways, but maybe not in this case. That much okay. Yeah. Yeah. Right, my next thing we do is wonder which is which here. One of them is volume. No, that's volume. And this one therefore is wave change. So that goes on to full like that. And we'll take some ends off here and use my terminal block and find out what's happening with it once I've got the end off here. By the way, Philips sets of this era, there are a few things said about Philips sets which I do agree with you, and a few that I don't. Basically, with Philips sets, it's very much where they're made. Philips had put that, but there we are. Right, Philips sets. Some were designed and made in Britain, and some were designed and made in Eindhoven. Yeah. So the Croydon based sets, that's with the G in the model number. They're the ones from over here. They're generally quite run of the mill. Won't have any problem with those. But at the same time, there's also the sets made in Eindhoven, which do sometimes require a little bit more care. Now, in days gone by, when nights were old, and ladies weren't invented, the nights still holding telegraph port, sorry. Sets from abroad were designed to work on 220, 230 volts. That's what they standard out on in Europe. Over here, 240, 250 volts. Yeah. Now, on the subject also of setting voltages up on various bits of equipment, I don't think it's got it. Okay. I don't think it's got a way of adjusting the voltage on this, has it? Okay. Well, basically, in Britain, either AC or DC normally, but the standardised on 240 volts. 230 volts has come about now, sure, to fit in with European standards. But in most cases, here for example, it's 239 volts, which is, you know, okay for both European standard and British standard. But it does, you do tend to run the valves a little bit harder. So again, something else to work for. So first thing we do, as always, yeah, is switch it to 20k salt. There we are. Yeah, I'm not going to put that where you can see it. Hang on. There you are. Now, can you see that? Yeah, you can. Right, okay. So 1.54k. Okay. Now, with sets that are designed for AC/DC, take one valve out, and it doesn't matter, like that, and do it again and see if it's gone up. Okay, fine. Okay. Yeah. Therefore, all the valve heaters are likely to be okay. We say likely because, you know, nothing is certain in this world, but, you know, certainly that's something to think about. It's usually higher on one of these AC/DC sets because these don't have a transformer. They have a big resistor, which is this one here, which, by the way, I noticed in this one is used to vary the voltage on the heaters, so that is probably why. I think for now we'll yeah, right, okay. I think I might do something rather stupid here actually. I might just, seeing that this tech doesn't appear to have had anything done to it at all, and the fact that the electronics seem to be unmolested, this set might be a candidate for plug in and see mentality. Yeah, I know that there are people out there who don't go along with this idea, but at the end of the day, he said, at the end of the day, a set will be used on a certain base voltage, 230, 240 volts, yeah. You know, there are times, particularly with TV sets, where it is feasible to run off a variac or a battery. But in this case, there's no sign of any short circuits. The valve heaters are okay. So, I think the best thing to do here is to plug it in and see what it does. I know there are people out there who will now be spilling into the coffee, or tea in my case, but you don't have to do all that with all sets. So, you know, besides, this set has been in such a state already that, you know, we do have to think very carefully about what we can and can't do with it. And I think in this case, this is perfectly reasonable to try and see what it does. Let's see if this reaches okay, shall we? By the way, this workshop has now been tidied up a lot, and we've got a shed out back, so most of the stuff that was in here is in the shed now. This set, if I get it working, it will probably become my bedside set. But first of all, we need to find out what condition it's in to start with, because if there is something wrong here, then, you know, what's the point doing the cabinet?
So the cut there, I didn't want you to see me struggling with this thing, because these things with one hand are a bit of a problem, shall we say. So anyway, in, switched on and turned up here, that is midway, that is on midwave along with I don't know which, and so go. Let's see what happens. The first thing we see is a valve heater lights up on the UI85. This is the U series valve, by the way, which is very common on sets of this type, because of course the current is constant, yet the voltage varies from valve to valve. So let's see what it. So let's sit and see what. Okay, let's try the other waveband. Cut that and go from one waveband to another, and see what it does on the other waveband. But we have some sign of life, so you know, it's not completely. Hang on, if I put a valve on, put a knob on, that might be easy to turn it, mightn't it? Right, so that goes onto there like that. It should tighten up. One of them does anyway. Oh dear, there's a problem there as well. Doesn't seem to be any good screws in these, I don't think. No, there's not. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll get another knob and we'll put it on there and we'll try it and see what happens. If we can't do it this way. So okay, let's try that.
The fairway here, the water crystal clear. We walked over that bridge just a few moments ago. So who stays in?
Well, there's not a lot wrong there, but I noticed because it's had quite a few things not done to it that should that white's out. I'm going to get hold of the manual and change one to bits just for for safety's sake more than anything else. I think Paul did send me the manual as well, although I've got it, so I'll just go and print it off. The settings part on the bench, like before, and here's a circuit diagram of the same question. Well, the front end anyway, the power and the audio, remember, pair. So, right, so with that in mind, put the meter on. There you can see that okay. Should be able to. And now we switch the set on and hope above hope that it does something. Now at this point now, there won't be anything at all until the heater warms up, which it is doing. Okay, so looking first of all at the UCLA2, there should be no signal, yes there is, but also there should be something on point 7 and 6, which there are. Okay, might be a bit high, but then again this meter, Avo meters by the way, only about 5,000 ohms per volt. These cheap, even cheap ones are much more sensitive, but generally speaking the real thing we have to check is valve heaters, yeah. So at that point now, there should be something there for on also pin 9, which should be lower. That's a little bit low actually, that. But from there now we go over here to there. And now going down to 2 volts, yeah, should be, yeah, and also there. And pin 3 has virtually nothing on it actually, which means therefore that for these capacitors, generally speaking, they're either all okay or they're all not okay. Doesn't seem to be anything either way, you know, not at all. So therefore, pin 3, there is, well, nothing basically, you know, something, but very little. So the capacitor C24, here's the circuit. I just knocked the power off. There you go. Here is the circuit of the radio in question, the Philips. And what we're looking at here is that capacitor C24. Now, that capacitor goes short circuit, and it's that capacitor, as we call it in the trade. And what it does, it puts the voltage on the grid, the first grid of this pentode here, which is in the same valve actually. So that's okay. Like the first capacitors, either they're all okay or they're all not. I've noticed that the voltage on pin 9 is a little bit lower than it should be. A little bit lower than it should be. So, and also I noticed that pin 6 and 7 were slightly high. So therefore, I shall also have a look at R17, wherever it is. So power back on. That's at 200 volts. And this, you see that is now coming back up. It should then fall. There we are. Right, okay, so that's at 88 now, and that is at 225. So I'm fairly sure that R17 is rather lower than it should be. Again, I'll leave that for now. For the moment, we're on a serious fault finding hunt, and that will be okay. The caps themselves. There's a little bit of hum, but nothing too bad. It might even be microphone hum rather than mains hum. So again, I'm inclined to leave that for now and see what happens. But basically, this set has survived rather well. Better than I thought it would actually. So what I'll do, I'll put it on and leave it and see what, if anything, it does. Apart from, of course, what it should do, which is, of course, play. So it goes up, like that over there, like that, and we'll switch it back on. And we'll turn it to something. By the way, they opened up my golf today, by the way, so why do people watch such things? So while we're at it, I'll have another crack at long wave and see if we get anything at all on long wave. We didn't before, did we? So I'll leave it to long wave and see what it does on long wave. Now, on all these sets, of course, oscillator valve is a UCH81. There's also an ECH. The wave change switch switches extra coils in for long wave. There's nothing there, is there? Okay, So something on the IF side, on the RF side of it. Okay. Now in this case, it is probably the oscillator side of it. So what I'll do, I'll go around the area, give it a resolder, and we'll see what happens. That's the first thing to try. Well, first of all, some of the magic spray. Some gets in this way, by the way. It's easy in taking the thing out. There we go. So give it a good going over like that. Like that. See, loosened up already. There we are. So that's okay. Now the wave change switch. Now on these. Again, give it a good spritz of spray. There we are. Spritz, who would spritz to drink? Was it just me? Anyway, there we are. Right, so on again. Now let's see if it's got to say for itself now, if anything, because the incubators being what they are, sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. This one
made it difficult because you wouldn't thought if you knew very quickly it didn't have a chance. Out here on 18, Ian to you. Louis Station on 17.
okay. Going a long way.
Indeed it could rally. By the end of Tuesday there were hundreds of took a call from Jen who explained why she had
That's Radio 4, so that is now back to some semblance of normality as well. So basically, what we seem to have here is a working radio. Like I said, I'll leave it on for a bit and we'll see what happens. But I'm not leaving it on sport. Yup. So what I'll do, I'll put it on for a bit, and the background, and meanwhile I'll look at this case in a little bit more detail. The back's okay. Okay, so first of all, that goes in like that, and that glues in. Now, as regards the cabinet, the bit that's missing, is there, and if I put the light back on, we should be able to shine a light to it and see. See it? So that's what the bits I think is in here. So basically, the first thing we've got to do is glue the cabinet back together and let it dry. That's the first thing. After that, that can go back in like that. Okay, there's no problem there. And this radio, although it came to me, it reported to be rather a mess, it isn't. And okay, it's not quite valuable, less so now, but it does work, it can be used, and it will be used. And what's more, I don't think that's a tint. Again, I might change one or two bits just for safety's sake, but the capacitors in it look okay. I might possibly be an hour field change R17. Now R17 the circuit, that should be 100 volts there, yeah, but it's not because of that being high. So R17 I think needs to be changed, but apart from that it seems to be okay, despite its rather interesting history recently. So yeah, so I'll put that over there out of the way like that. There were also the Philips sign on the front. These sets, by the way, got a photograph of it somewhere. Don't think we do. The Philips thing here doesn't have all the Philips on it, I don't think. The P and an I missing. So the Philips sign, if you look on the front of the unit like that, you see like that. The Philips sign goes like that. See, like that. But the P and the I are missing. That might be a trick to send of a craft when I think that, but I'm sure we can sort something out there. The knobs don't seem to have the right size grub screws with them. Again, that's not a problem. Tuning knob works okay. That's the pointer. So there's actually come on fairly well, but next thing we'll do is we'll make good on this cabinet here. So first of all, on the side here, Bakelite, when it breaks, there's not a lot you can do apart from glue it back together again. You can't see from the front, it's not that bad. So I'll glue it on the inside, and also I'll put that other bit back in. It's here. It's this here. I don't know quite how fast Paul was driving, by the way, but yeah. So that obviously goes like that. So that's and this one too goes like that. So we'll put these two back in and leave it to dry. So get me glue, which will probably be frozen up again, and just make sure I'll do the usual. It's ours. The glue sometimes is one of the most useful, but one of the biggest pains in the ass of the workshop, I tell you. So again, we'll take that off there like that. Yeah. So we'll so that goes onto there like that, and that goes onto there like, is that the one? Is it, or is that the other one? Which is which? Which is which? Hang on. Yeah. So this one goes something like that, I think. And the other one, again. So when it goes properly and safely in back in the cabinet, like that, and there like that, and what I'll do here is I'll just leave these two to dry for a minute, hold them in place, there we are. Like that, and then I'll put some of this on here, like that. And again, in it goes, like that. There we are. So now we've got that in, and it's and to leave that to dry now. Okay, possibly overnight. Now I just put some of this glue over that, like that, and let it sink in. And hopefully the cabinet should not. That doesn't matter a right lot, but might as well have it a bit more like it should be. So there we are, that's the cabinet, better than it was at any rate. So it's yeah. So so now I'll leave that back down there to dry. And we'll come back to that in the near future, as it were, so to speak. You know, I had a physics teacher called Mr. Orton was a kid, and he used to talk like that, everything was as it were, or so to speak. So I probably got that off him. Oh well, back to it tomorrow when it's all dried into. Meantime, I'll have a look and see what we can do about the the knobs, and of course the P and is it the I or the L on the front? I don't know. P, it's P and I on the P and I on the front there of Philips, which as you can see there are missing. So that's very interesting one. That what I think I might do actually is get some old 15 amp or 35 amp fuse wire, bend it into the P, and of course the I was cut down, and put them on there, and then put that on the chassis, and that should do that. Had a bit of a brainwave regarding the Philips sign actually. I got some wire years ago from Maplin. It wasn't all that good for wiring stuff. It sort of like, it cracked, it was meant to be that taut stuff, but it wasn't. But it does actually stand up fairly well, as you can see there, you see. So it stands up fairly well. So I'm making the I and the P out of that. So the Philips side is now put in the stood up position using the pliers, and the I is in place, and when it's dried I will then cut it off. That'll be the I done. The P, of course, simply a matter of bending it over and making a P of sorts and doing the same thing. Again, I shan't do that on camera because I tend to use some rather choice words when things don't work with one hand. So that's what I've done. So hopefully the Philips sign will start to look that because all the set was made by Philips and not Philips, as Philips themselves put it into adverts in the early 80s for V2G81U video recorders. Remember that? Philips. Yeah. Well, there you go. That's him to do that. And then the next gluing job, which is also important because it's a dial on the radio, which fits in there. Okay. So there we go. So it's like that. Like that. Get it the right way around and put it in like that. And again, I'll leave that to dry. Now, I'm afraid my idea of wire didn't work as well as I thought. So again, we'll have to think about that again. But yeah, there's some stuff you can get actually from Hobbycraft and places like that, which is used for which is black, and it's like a sort of a plasticine that sets, I think. So I'll get some of that and we'll try that. Right, now at this stage in the proceedings, we're going to look very closely now at putting the thing back together again. Now, when you put the radio apart, normally you keep all the bits together, and luckily in this case, Paul, you've actually managed to keep most of the bits, if not all of them. So if anything happens, get up all the bits, even bits of cabinet. The cabinet is back together again now, and this has been running all day. It's fine. Not really now because I'm on camera, and so now we've got to look at how it goes together again. So knobs, okay, fine. They're coming loft, and here are the screws for the inside of the knobs. Again, not yet. Okay. Now this is, that goes on there like that, with the cabinet is in place, yeah. And I think that must go over the top of it. I might actually do something really awful like glue that, but don't tell anyone, okay? Now, as regards putting it back in the cabinet, if I get the cabinet, push that out of the way a bit, there we are, push that out of the way a bit and get the cabinet, which is here. And there are 2 screws. Can you see that okay? Is that okay? There are 2 screws there holding the speaker in. Okay? The speaker goes here. Okay? And there's 3 screws being put back, screw holes being put back in here, where these 3 screw holes in the cabinet here will go. That's 1, 2 and 3. Hang on. One, 2 and 3. That's where they go. Okay, so that's the next thing to do. As regards the Philips sign, the first thing I tried didn't work, so that I'm going to leave that till last and have a think about that. Okay. So now we're going putting the thing back together again. Again, always do these things carefully and on one side at a time, especially in a case like this, because you never know what you might come across, as I might have left or might be losses or anything like that. So do it in stages. So if we now get this cabinet again, put it here like that, like that. And I now put this in there like that, but not straight away, because the first thing I'm going to do here is put this speaker back in place. That's the first thing we need to do. So get all the wires out of the way like that. On this, fortunately, they are fairly long, so there's no actual issue with having to put those rather nice things in. Now, the cabinet, I'll put it in like that, and you put these 2 over to hold the speaker in place. Like that. And then of course we need to put this back down again, like that. Not completely yet, but close enough, okay? And now, with them like that now, get the rest of the unit, put it over, and it should go into grooves there. Correctly, please, there we are. Again, these things do take a bit of time to get right, you know. So what I'll do, I'll put that like that. That will should hold. Hang on. How about doing it that way first, like that, and then that goes into there, that goes into there. And now, let's see if we can get these other screws back in place. We have to put this in like that, okay? There's 3 screws here which go in, and again, one thing which we do not do in this situation is tighten everything up at once, okay? So, you know, you don't do that, okay? You just, every screw goes into its place, and then and only then, when everything is in place, is the unit tightened up again. This might be interesting, so what I'll do, if I whip those 2 valves out, I know where they go, by the way, I've whipped on these before, but always note that. So that one goes into there like that. Okay, and the 2 others go. One goes into this hole here, down here, which I also put back in place earlier on. And again, it's goes into there like that, and tightens up. Not all the way, never all the way, never put them all the way. Okay. On the other one, the one that's really hard to get at. So go at that valve as well. Okay. And this one goes right down here. This one, I think, should be, well, dare I say, fun. Let's lift that up a bit by putting something there like that. Again, in it goes. Switch my light on a minute. There we are. Let the dog see the rabbit. And basically, we're trying to get that one in right down there. And yes, this sort of thing does happen. So now we've got to find out where that's gone. It's gone there, okay. So a magnetic screwdriver in these situations comes in very, very handy. If something is magnetic, if not, then you know, you have to put your hands down there, find it, and pull it out again. get a pair of pliers, get some around the screw and lift it out. You might have to do this more than once, particularly if the unit in question, the screw in question, has gone somewhere deeply unhealthy. Like, that goes out. Okay. Well, what I might do is tighten these two a bit more. Like that. And like that. And see. Okay, that goes right down the hole, so we know the hole's in the right place. So we'll try again. Off camera, because I think I'm going to swear. Well, I managed to do that without swearing, but if you look and sit down, the chassis is back in the case, and it looks a bit like a radio again, as you can see there. I just put something underneath, make it stand up slightly for the camera. There we are. Looks like a radio again. But does it sound like a radio still? That's what really counts, isn't it? So that was on full. It's on medium wave. In the back, the valves are lighting up, so that's okay. I'll put them back in the right places, by the way. I've done these before. Wait and hope. They say wait and hope. Now at this point, yes, something could go wrong.
To only allow people into nightclubs in England if they're fully vaccinated. Speaking from isolation.
This summer, get a trusted 5-year British Gas warranty when you buy a new boiler. So if yours is making even more noise than your...
That's okay, I think. So now we've got to get to work on this tuning dial. Now on these sets, it's a slow motion dial. So basically what happens is that that goes all the way one way, like that. Like that. And we put this on, either way around, doesn't matter. And we should get it on the set like so. I might actually do something really awful and glue this, but you know, sometimes you have to, you know, so that's supposed to go on there. I think this must go on top like that, and this, I think it goes this way up. I know it does because of the because the numbers in it, and that goes on like that, and this now goes over the top of the whole thing and puts it all in place. So the big one comes out of here, the big one comes out of here, there we are, and it Does it go underneath there? Does it go underneath there, I wonder? Does that? I don't think it does, you know. Oh well, something is not quite right here. I don't know what, but something is not quite right here. So they come off like that. And again, let's put that capacitor right at the end of its travel, which it appears to be. Okay. Yes, I might possibly do something not terribly clever here to get this one working properly. So this obviously where it took the bang. Yeah. Let's have a think. Find it. Now, very few radios, and this one doesn't in the manual, have the details as to how this lot is held together. Obviously, this lot must come off to make the chassis come out of the cabinet. So I'll have a look at the manual and see, get any clues from that as to how this goes apart and comes together again. I might need to do something funny here, but I'll look at the manual and see what it says. Not quite right, but it works, as you can see there. Okay, so what I've done, there was meant to be some sort of rubber grommet, but that wasn't here. Half of it was, half of it wasn't. What I got was this bit here, which is in pieces, so goodbye to that. And I have a bag of these. These are from Tools Home, and they are 112 pieces rubber grommets. And one thing about these is that they will fit most things very, very well. And so I put the tuning indicator in place, put half a rubber grommet on top of it, nearly there but not quite, so I put another grommet on top of that one, and then put the knob in back together again. It's not quite right. Also, the silver grill is missing as well, but we can't have everything. So it does now at least work, as we'll see in a minute when it's warmed up, because as you know, valves have to warm up. So takes time though, but you know, those days people have patience, we don't know.
2017 to hear from Stuart Hogg in the heart of the Lions squad, and literally we spoke to him hours before.
That's fine, lad, there. I can't actually play what I normally play on these sets for copyright reasons, but it's not perfect, but it does actually work. So it can still be used and it still operates. The cabin is back together. The crack on the side I've glued together. It's not perfect again, but from the front you can't see it, so there you go. Now what I've got to do now is look at these two knobs here. The grub screws that are with these knobs in here don't fit. I don't know where they come from, but they're not the ones with this unit. They're too small. So I get two of the right size and put these two back on. Then of course we've got to do the Philips sign. So yeah, so I'll get a couple of right size grub screws and put these knobs back on as well. And then of course put the back on. Put the Philips thing back on, built correctly. I'll go to the I'll go and get something to do that tomorrow, and there we are. So it's coming back to normal again after its rather unfortunate experience. I wonder who's fast power driving. I wonder. This is the next way I'm thinking about of doing this. I'm putting the eye together at the moment. What I've done is I've got two of these third hand things, yeah. One of them is holding the Philips thing and the other one is holding a wire, and I've just super glued it in. So the moment I'm waiting to see if it dries and glues or not. I must admit that I'm not very hopeful about this, but there were ways of doing it, but I think I might have to try again with this, you know. It's still drying actually. So we might have got it, but it's going to be interesting to put the thing back in the radio, because got to do it very, very, very carefully and very gingerly. While I'm doing that, what I'm doing also, get another piece of that wire, there we are, and I'm going to try and make a letter P out of it. Basically, that I'm going to swing around like that. And make a sort of a P shape. This isn't going to be quite right, but you know, again, it's a case of what we do, you know. So now, if I take that off there like that, yeah, there some sort of a letter P, sort of. It's not right, but you know, there we are. Basically, I'll try and get it as near to right as I can here. When that's right, I will glue it on the end here in the same sort of way, if that works, and we'll try that. This is one of those jobs which, you know, is very difficult with one hand, as I'm sure you can imagine, but we do our best, and as always, and every radio had a chance to play again. Also, in this case, a chance to look as good as it was before, as they'd like to do. So yeah, so Not brilliant by any means, that, but it'll do. So now I'm going to put it there on the edge, but I'm going to give that a second to dry first. Then it's after putting it on the radio, and then hopefully that'll do. The things I can't do with this, the crack on the side, Bakelite is actually technically it's all one molecule technically. So when it cracks, there's not really a lot you can do. You know, during the day, in its day, actually, Bakelite was the cheaper option. The expensive was one, but Bakelite was the cheapest. Or how charge changes too. Back in the day, the Bosch TV52 in the Bakelite was the cheap version, and the wood one was the expensive one. Now the wood ones fetch very little, and the Bakelite ones fetch a fortune. It just shows, doesn't it? It just shows.
Here you are. This is finished.
If you look closely, you'll see the P is not exactly right, and the R is a little bit shorter. But with one hand, I don't think that's too bad a job, quite frankly. You might, I might not, but there you are. That is now the Philips side again. So now we've got to put it back on the set. So the set, we've got it back like that, yeah. That comes out of there like that. Almost not super glue for that, by the way. Not super glued like. And so that now goes onto there like that. Okay, fine. And so we get our glue again, like that. Yeah, and put glue across the back like that, and quickly lift that up and put it in its place, which is not my hand, by the way. So yeah, so that now goes into there like that. And eventually it should solder up and be something approaching all right for the job. It's not right, but it really is the best that I can do with it. So it's not too bad, but you know, I've seen better, but I've certainly seen worse. So that 35 for a minute. Super glue is good for things like this because it will just feed into place very quickly. And so now there you are. If I was to now lift this radio up so to have a look. There you are. I'll just put the camera out so I can have a look properly. Give me a minute there. Leave me a minute there, sir. There we are. And that is it. That is a Philips. There you go. That is a Philips B2G81U on the back of that, and I think it is, yeah. On the manual as well. The tuning dial isn't quite right, but this is best we can do with what I was given. The knobs have gone on okay. Put that out of the way. And so there you are. After all its tribulations and trials, here we have again a working Philips radio. Let's wait for it to warm up. The back's on, by the way, because of course I wanted it the back on because I'm going to lying it on its back. So there you are. So any second now, please. There we go.
Need some prize money at the Olympics to keep those athletes. From 2:45, these Birmingham Phoenix women against the London Spirit in the likes of Amy Jones captaining.
So anyone who's a fan, that's a good long-standing bet.
That's long red. Okay. So there you are.
There's so much to look forward to. Thank you to Michael Vaughan, to Alex Hartley,
Right, there we are.
to Marl Mills as well.
It came in bits, and it's now back into one bit again, and it works. Paul, nice. I don't know what happened and how it got like this, but I hope you can see for this that sets can be repaired on this one, which many people would have went used bits, can be brought back together again. If somebody has got the surround for the end, or you tuning down, then please get in touch. But often that's a perfectly reasonable radio now, even with the front looking again. So it's from there. So yeah. So until next time, from Steve Pendlebury's Longstay Vintage Radio Workshop. And bye bye. Take care and keep fixing radios. Bye bye.